what's up, court nerds? And we are going live to this TPO to start the show as the regulars trickle in. How we doing? No time to talk. Let's get it rolling, people. How we doing? Let's go.
Statements, such as like the hygiene issue. So I can ask like another question. Um, was Angela aware of Asia hygiene concerns?
All right, I believe she did testify about that, but Miss
What's up,
Cunningham, were you
Chris?
aware
I
of
heard you had fun with
Mr.
my
Dupre's concerns about
with the
Asia's hygiene?
homies in Discord
I
today.
was because Mr. Ducre expressed them to me, and I gave him suggestions in the past for what to do
VIP
because
nerd.
she is in puberty. She's a new 13-year-old girl, so she
Oh,
has
he didn't have
changes
to
going
host.
on. We have that in text message. I've even sent her back with skincare products and taught her steps on how to take care of her skin. I've also told him that in text messages.
Okay, Mr. Dupre.
And we can look at Exhibit A,
Okay.
page 6.
All right, what is this, Mr. Dupre?
I gotta minimize. Give me just a moment here.
No. You can't minimize it. It's the clerk sharing the screen.
Okay, I have my notes. So what were you like reviewing? And again, everything like what I'm speaking about is based on the allegations that Angela made.
Hang
So
on a second. Miss Cunningham, do you recognize what this is? Because I think he's going to ask you about it.
I do recognize what this is, and I do know what it's pertaining to. And
Okay.
it's not pertaining to what we're here for today.
All right, hang on what is it sort of pertaining to? How it sounds like you're saying it's irrelevant?
It,
Not
it's
relevant?
it's not relevant because this was pertaining to establishing a pickup and drop off schedule for her that is part of the court order that we had in place for my visitation.
well,
I know
Mr.
exactly what this
Dupre,
is.
excuse me, Mr. Ducre, what does this have to do with this petition?
it shows like the inability of the constant cancellation of
Okay, but that's not what we're here about today. This is not about who exercises visitation when and where. This is about allegations of family violence. And that's what we're here to discuss or refute, or, that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to be heard, sir.
all right. Well, let's exit this exhibit.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Or anything else, Mr.
So
Duper?
yes, and the reason I'm bringing up like these exhibits because again, it continues to show like accountability because Angela alleged that. Well, oh, okay, give me a moment here. Well, yes. So at the end of Angela request, based on these like allegations, like what she is requesting is that this court grants her,
Is this a question?
yes.
Okay,
Well,
just want to make sure, because you are going to have plenty of time to testify and tell me what you want to tell me.
okay. Well, I guess I was trying to state like merits. I was like the reason I'm going over like these exhibits and asking the question is simply because she is requesting custody of our daughter, and that's based on her request at the end of these like allegations. So that's why I'm bringing up these exhibits so the court can see that that based on the history.
Okay, this doesn't sound like a question. I'm going to give you all the opportunity to say that stuff to me, those arguments. But do you have any questions for Ms. Cunningham?
No,
Y'all just hang on a second, please.
thank you. No.
This guy sucks.
I think in her best interest, I just want her to be safe. I want her to feel safe and know she has somebody she can trust in a safe space.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. You can go ahead and mute yourself, and I am going to hear from Mr. Ducray at this time. Mr. Ducray, you can go ahead and testify if you like, or you can present your witness first, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, understood. Kimberly, Simone, she maybe had to go and deal with other kids. All right, understood. Well, you can come and sit down if you want.
No,
Oh
this
boy.
isn't where she gets to just listen to you testify. If
Okay.
you want her to testify right now, or if you want to testify first and then I can ask her questions after you're done, I can do that.
Huge no.
All right, understood.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Ducray, go ahead. How do you want to respond to the allegations in this petition? Remember, we're here, narrow issue.
Okay, understood. Well, it feels real good to speak and see like my daughter. It feels like real good. I was a bit like disturbed by her comments, but based on these like allegations, based on what Angela Cunningham like is legend, I just want to make the court know that my interest is for the best interest of my daughter, and that's my sole intent. That's my sole purpose. Now, based on the allegations here, it's completely false. Completely false. It has no merits, and I'm actually quite sickened by the attempt of Angela Cunningham, like the absent parent, and her objective to actually move the child out of a structured home to get custody, or this is not just an attempt to get custody of the minor child by abusing this TPO system, which is reserved for domestic violence victims, which she is a part of as of recent within the last 12 months. Now, Your Honor, like respectfully, I have raised, my daughter, I have raised I made a commitment to my daughter ever since that she was born, that I'll be the best father, the best dad that she can expect. Hold her like in my arms, and I spoke like to my daughter. And ever since my daughter was 2 years old, now she's currently 13, I have molded my daughter into the beautiful lady that she is now, with little to no help, financially or emotionally, from Angela Cunningham. And I will be able to prove that today if in case the court give me enough time. I'll be able to show at least like some of the things I have, right? And my daughter is my world, okay? Angela knows that. Angela knows that. So based on these like allegations, when Angela states, when she made these allegations and then she states about beatings, this is overly exaggerated, right? Now, what she will call beatings, as a 13-year-old, most 13-year-old kids today, they don't want corrective measures. And I get that. And what they consider to be beatings, I call small whoopings, or maybe small spankings, or disciplinary measures. But it's my duty as a father to make sure that my daughter is raised properly, based on my family structure and my family values. Now, my daughter has been around the majority of her life. I have raised her. My daughter has been around my family. She always had limited access to Angela Cunningham's family. Angela, based on her family, her mother is not around, her father is not around. Asia has limited access to Angela's family. And over the past 10 years, 11 years that I had sole custody, 100% custody, which was given to me from the court based on myself and Angela's negotiation, because Angela knew I was the better fit, not only financially, but Angela know that I was capable, fully capable of being emotionally driven and committed like to my daughter physically and also financially as well. So that's on the basis of spanking. Yes, I have spanked my daughter. I have pinched my daughter. Yes. So as the majority
Pinch.
or like 80% of parents here in this world,
80%.
right?
Thanks for the.
So the
Yeah,
idea of
okay.
um, I don't abuse. I have never been in an abusive relationship. I don't condone abusive, any kind of domestic violence. I don't assert my daughter and actually have, in addition to maybe me myself spanking my daughter, it's just not willy-nilly. These spankings or comes after numerous, maybe dozens of little small talk, because I'm always speaking like with my daughter. Ever since my daughter like was 8 years old, I mentioned to my daughter, hey, don't have myself put any hands on you, your mom, my fiance, like your husband, like a husband, or any stranger. Within the past, my daughter is now is 13. Ever since she was 8 years old, I probably beat my daughter maybe about 5 times. And again, that comes after several small talks. So I'm not go- so that's as far as like the beat.
Let me ask you some
Another
questions
like
before we get way far away from that.
okay.
When's the, would you say is the last time you hit her with a belt?
Yesterday.
I would say maybe February or March. February or March. And what my daughter also like referred to as me hitting her like on the face is that yes, she picks like out of face, and maybe I may have just take the belt and just tap on her face so she can understand, hey, this is where like the focus is for you to stop picking like your face. But I'm not
What?
overly excessively beating my daughter, of course not. And if in case the clerk can go to exhibit
I don't get it.
exhibit C, I will also like the court to see my family structure.
I don't get with the tapping and the pinching.
Exhibit C, these are family photos of Asia's lifestyle ever since she was a baby. This is my family. This is my family here. And if the clerk was able like to scroll down, this is Asia's lifestyle. This is what, in my opinion, Angela is trying to break her out of. And keep scrolling down.
Mr.
These are
Dupre,
tricks.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you, you heard Miss Cunningham say that you called her and told her to come get Asia. Did that happen?
Yes, I did. I sure did. I did. That was after Angela called DFAX here, and shortly after, 2 hours after DFAX told her that the kid was safe, Angela went ahead and she called the sheriff to do a wellness check on Asia. And yes, I did tell Angela that she can come and pick up Asia, but this was conversations that we had in the past where I would have opened the options for Asia as she gets older and she matures into a woman. I always told Angela, hey, I'm gonna, there will be instances where I want you to start to come around, to be around, because as Asia grows older, she will want to create her own identity, and she also wants that mother-daughter bond. And myself and Angela, we have spoke several times about the possibility of extended stays so I can transitional Asia from my household into hers once Asia is of age and once Angela shows me that she was able to provide for her financially, emotionally, and physically as well. Because in the past 11 years, she has been absent.
All right, so you told her to come get Asia, and what was the plan after that?
It was an extended stay. My, again, myself and Angela, we had verbal communication about the possibility of Asia having more time because
I'm not talking about what you guys discussed in the past. I'm talking about when she came and picked her up after this, all these people were called. What was the plan?
based on Asia's request, right, of wanting to see her mother more, I allowed her to have an extended stay with her mother. And my plan was to have her finish school with her mother, spend the summer with her mother, and based on how my daughter like responds, then I'll bring like my daughter back, see how she adjusts back in my household for the upcoming school year, speak with my daughter, get her into counseling, get her back into counseling, and ultimately see when she's about 14, 15 years old, mold her into um, eventually, if in case she wants to make that decision at that age, then I would have allowed her to like to resume living like with the mother, but to start to live like with the mother. Because at that age, at the age of 15, at the age of 14, 15, 16, I know that my daughter has a lot of questions and wanting to create her own identity. So that was my plan. And that's what we spoke about. So in addition to some of the other like allegations that was made, such as verbal abuse to Asia, we have expectations here in my household. We have expectations. Our kids, they have to speak properly. Our kids, they have to dress properly. Like our kids have to have good grades. All of
How
our
many
kids,
children are in the home?
collectively 3, and they
How
all
old are
have,
the others?
repeat that.
How old are the other children in the home?
We have a 14-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, and then Asia is 13.
Okay.
And all of these kids and all of our kids, they have to participate in extra school activities, band, soccer, football, track, dance. And some of these exhibits will show some of Asia and some of like the other kids extra activities. So yes, me as a father, I want to see her excel. But most of Asia, so as far as verbal abuse, there is no excessive, or it's just it's not verbal abuse. It's more or less corrective, um, like motivation. And and again, I have consistent small talks with my daughter. My daughter is only going through a phase right now because her mother has been absent so many times in her life. And um, and I can show through some of these texts, again, based on the allegations here, that my daughter,
Live and die by the live. Well, let's start the show. Here we go. Let's do it to it. What should we start with? Oh, I got it. Let's start with a little Judge Washington. Let's
Project
roll.
Senator, I wasn't really sure what that meant. So I didn't stipulate to adjourn this because there was like a request for a thing to be done. So I didn't, want to interfere with that. So is there anything that you need for the people to do?
Can the people just prepare an order of show cause that we can send over to the forensic department and maybe I can get somebody here?
I will inquire, Your Honor. I guess myself and Mr. Curry, I can really should both be asking our respective offices whether we can do that and get it done, whoever gets to see first, it sounds like.
Right, I'm signing it, so it's not as though you're show causing them, it's not your motion, it's put on the court's own volition, I just need the order prepared, please.
Okay.
Thank you. How long will it take to get that done? I'll just put it over to June 1st.
Okay.
11 a.m. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if he's not getting any treatment, he's just sitting there.
Correct.
I guess the other concern becomes, I don't, whether or not, I think that people get 18 months to restore him. I don't think that's whether he's in the forensic center or not. I think it starts from the date that the order enters, finding him incompetent. So that's the other issue. I'll see everyone then back on June 1st at 11 a.m. Bond is continued. Is Mr. O'Brien?
No, he left. He's gone. We do still have to pay for it.
You all set, Mr. Miller?
This poor guy.
So my bond can continue to the 11th.
I'm sorry, what, sir?
You said my bond gonna continue to the 11th of June?
To June 1st, sir.
I mean, I gotta stay in jail to June the 1st?
Sir, I can't release you because you're under a competency order at this time. The forensic
Under
department
what?
has to get you. The forensic department needs to come get you.
So they can wait till June 11th to come and pick me up?
I don't know when they're coming, sir.
Oh, okay.
It's like here, I can really probably, have you spoken to your client recently? You probably-
Absolutely. We spoke with them this week, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Roll call the case of the state of Michigan versus Curtis.
A little warm up. All right.
Call case, People versus Barisha Anderson.
So I made a little Simpson Bryant mix. If you notice, I've been meshing these two together, even in my clips. These are just a really good exchange between Simpson and his man, Attorney Brown, and then I go to Bryant, and then I got a good Middleton clip.
Lou Danner for the People.
Ron Brown appearing on behalf of Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson? Your Honor,
Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Good morning. How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm doing great. I get to peel the sticker for your client.
Well, hold on before you peel the sticker. I called her. I talked to her the other day. She was supposed to come into our office because she had an AIM appointment with AIM and Miss Williams. And we have a plan for her, so I'm asking for an adjournment rather than a bench warrant. But I did talk to her the other day at length.
Bench warrant will issue $10,000 cash surety. That warrant will issue immediately. Thank you.
Can you at least hold it to the end of the docket?
Excuse me, man. Oh man, see, that sounded like he was yelling at me.
I wasn't yelling.
Is that what it sounded
in the
like?
background.
It sounded like
they
you sit up here and get loud. You what?
I'm lawyering here.
You know what? You know what's going to happen? This number is going to go significantly higher if he keeps up.
Y'all hold it down. I'm
Stop.
lawyering here.
What?
Excuse me. 574 is turned off.
574. Are you Miss Anderson?
I'm
What's
not
up,
sure if you
Rita?
said Sandia Anderson or a different Anderson. I'm sorry.
What's your name?
I'm Sandia Anderson.
Okay, that's not it. Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Court calls the case. People versus Nathaniel Davis.
Lou Danner for the people.
Yes, sir.
And Edward Drukas on behalf of Nathaniel Davis, I'm standing in for Janan Hamoud, the attorney of record. And Your Honor, today
All right. And Mr. Davis, you don't have you don't have an issue with Mr. Drukas standing in, do you?
Who?
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Drukas.
Your Honor, I do have an email indicating that he was aware that I'd stand in on behalf of Ms. Hamoud today.
I still have to ask him if there's an objection. Go ahead, counsel, with your whatever you're going to indicate to me, please.
On February 23rd, he was referred for a competency exam. That has not taken place yet. Ultimately, I'm asking for a 4-week adjournment, and if I can address bond at the appropriate time.
The way I see it.
Competency hearing, June 1st. We have no report. As to bond.
With regard to bond, when he was released from jail, his understanding was that he did not need to return for any purpose and that he had served his time. And he did not subsequently show up to court on the last court date. I'm asking the court to consider allowing him to be released on a PR bond. He is not a danger to the community. This underlying offense is for theft, and he resides in a group home. So it is a place that we can locate him and a place that he would be going back to upon if he were to be released.
So we are checking out Mr. Shaw. Wayne Shaw is the guy we're looking at.
I'll respond later. This is my case. Mr. Danner jumped on.
Blanche!
Now, Judge, I don't think he had stable housing before, after I talked to Ms. Hamoud. So I have no objection as long as you're okay with it, Judge, for him to be in the group home and stay there and then make sure he goes to his competency hearing or meeting.
All right. If counsel, I don't have a problem changing his mind. I'm going to continue it. I'd like an order that is very specific about where he's going to be and that he would need to remain there. So if you send over a signed order to me or a stipulated order, I'll be more than happy to sign off on it with those terms. But at this point, his bond will continue. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court calls the case People versus Wayne Shaw. I have
For the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rita Young, P44626, appearing on behalf of Mr. Wayne Shaw, and I apologize, Your Honor. I wasn't aware of the time change until.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, no, I got it. But the real issue is you got picked up. So go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. I have discussed with Mr. Shaw his rights to a preliminary examination. It's my understanding that he does plan to waive the preliminary examination. And
No, I reconsider.
then in that case, Your Honor, I would ask the court to set this for an in-person preliminary examination.
Look at Simpson. He's loving it.
Okay. Preliminary examination will be set May 23rd, 2023, 9 a.m. before me, in person.
Judge, actually, I start a jury trial on the 22nd. That's going to be about 2 days long. So
You're going to take that long? All
yes.
right, I can move it out. You want it on the 30th? You want it? I can actually squeeze. I can get you in on the 16th. Will you be able to do it on the 16th? I thought you weren't available on the 16th, but if you are, then.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was definite.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm just. I have a preliminary examination scheduled for that date on the 16th in the morning. Can I come at like 11:30?
I can't agree to that. Is the preliminary examination here in this county or no?
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure.
Is there a reason we can't do the 30th?
Well, I'm trying because he's in custody. That's why. I'm trying to work the date out with counsel. So I'm trying to do if I can get it to the 16th.
Your Honor, what I can do is because he is in custody and the defendant for the exam on the 16th is out of custody, I'll move the exam on the 16th and do Mr. Shaw on the 16th.
Okay, I got you. Preliminary examination, May 16th, 2023, 9 a.m. That will be before Judge Washington.
So, May 16th, 9 a.m., Judge Washington, Your Honor?
Yes. Bond will continue on this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.
What happened to it on my docket? Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Today is the day set for pretrial conference. How are we proceeding?
On behalf of Mr. Phillips, Your Honor, we would move for dismissal for the complainant's failure to appear.
Ms. Ritter?
Judge, it appears to be the first scheduling of the pretrial conference. The people respectfully request the court to adjourn the pretrial conference to give the complaining witness one more opportunity to appear, Your Honor. I don't see the complaining witness, Mr. Thomas Epperson, in the waiting room by that name.
All right, the court is going to deny defense counsel's motion for dismissal, grant the people's request for an adjournment, giving them an opportunity to locate and notify the complaining witness of the obligation that they appear before the court. I will set a pretrial conference for July 6th at 8:36. The complaining witness is required to appear. Failure of the complaining witness to appear will most likely result in the matter being dismissed unless the people have a valid explanation as to why the complaining witness could not or should not be required to appear. Bond will continue with no contact with the complaining witness. Anything further? Mr. Phillips, don't come to court with no Bible open sitting in front of you like that. I mean, I'm okay with you, but if you were in court, you wouldn't be able to have the Bible sitting open. If you want to honor whatever your beliefs are, because I know I do honor mine, you could set it to the side, but it's not appropriate to just have the book open in court, because we're in court. We are in court.
Where are we? Where are we?
To the side, but it's not appropriate to just have the book open in court, because we're in court. We're in court. We are in court.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
She is the
Have a great day and
best.
stay safe.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I can't with her. Oh boy. Here we go. Okay, now this one is really good with Middleton. Oh boy, this was a good one. He was at his finest. Let's roll. This one is for the dogs.
Okay. Well, let's get started here. I'll turn the record on.
Turn the record on, sir.
It's a little after the appointed time. We were set for 10. This is the time for an arraignment on a citation and a petition regarding a dangerous animal. Title of the case is People versus Scott Widener. The file number is 23717SM. Mr. Widener is here. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Casey Johnson is here, and he filed a petition, and the county's new animal control officer, Kyle Merck, is also present. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. You got this citation for having a dog at large under the animal, what was known as the dog law. Stray dog is a misdemeanor. I believe it's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Ticket also says bite with injury. Mr. Johnson also filed a petition to show cause why the dog should not be confined, removed, or destroyed for things that happened in the village of Constantine in March and April of this year. Mr. Johnson, where are we here this morning?
Hello,
Yes, the way I see it.
As the court noticed, we did file this motion to show cause.
Yeah, so that's what the way I see it was bringing up. So that's what I was going to say. This guy is in, way I see it, dropped a video on it. And the one that the lady didn't know her house went to sheriff's sale. And Middleton brings it up a lot. because this is the whole point of why they're bringing it with the dog in court, because the dog's dangerous and they don't know what to do with the dog, so that's why the guy had to come in.
We had offered Mr. Widener an opportunity to release the dog to animal control in exchange for dismissal of his ticket. He's declined. He indicates he wishes to maintain ownership of the dog or to transfer ownership of the dog to his significant other. The people have concerns that the dog is obviously a danger to the public at large, and so you know, it is. So I guess you know, we're here to have this hearing today. The animal control ordinance prescribes that if a dog is labeled as dangerous, there are several requirements for housing of the animal, including a substantial fence, I believe a 7-foot tall fence with a concrete floor and a roof and a padlock. And so, you know, there's some concern here that, well, first of all, no such structure exists on the property currently. Mr. Widener indicates that he may be moving. We don't have any information about that. So it's just a lot of unknowns here. Ultimately, what the people's preference, you know, would be that obviously not to euthanize the animal. It's a fairly young dog. There's obviously some concern about the behaviors here. There have been 2 bite, or at least, you know, 2 incidents where passersby at Mr. Widener's house have been chased or bitten by this dog. And so there's an ongoing concern about Mr. Widener's ability to keep the dog under control. Additionally, the dog is not vaccinated. And so this has been an ongoing situation since the beginning of March. There have been multiple warnings to Mr. Widener to get the dog licensed and vaccinated, you know, and he hasn't done so. And so for the last about 2 weeks, the dog has been in animal control after the last incident. The dog was taken into custody for a quarantine to make sure there were no rabies issues. There have been no apparent issues to that effect, so the dog's relatively healthy. However, just kind of multiple layers of concern here for the people, you know, insofar as, you know, if the dog were to be returned to Mr. Widener, how long before Mr. Widener lets it out off leash again and it attacks somebody else? So the people kind of proposed to Mr. Widener that there are rescues. There are rescues specifically that deal with German Shepherds. German Shepherds, when, you know, can be fairly high-strung, high needs kind of dogs. If they're not trained properly, these are the kind of issues that you see with them. So our preference would be that the animal be released to the county to locate and be able to place the dog with someone who's able to kind of give it that care and attention that it needs. Ultimately, it's the opinion of animal control and of the people that the dog can't simply be adopted out to someone in its current state. It poses a risk to the general public with its behavior, and it's shown that multiple times. So, and so we kind of leave it to the court. Like I said, Mr. Widener probably has something to say about this, but he indicated to me as we were speaking that he, you know, he wishes to transfer title of the dog to a significant other, and that she's willing to, you know, to comply with the animal control ordinance. She's not here. We don't have any evidence that that's the case. And so kind of dealing simply with what we know, we would ask the court to grant the relief requested and to transfer title of the dog to the county of St. Joseph for, you know, for I guess disposal as the county sees fit. Ultimately, I mean, recognizing the fact that if we're unable to find a suitable location for the dog, that euthanasia may, is absolutely on the table. Not our preference, but once again, we just kind of have to go with what we have and what we know here. So I think that's more or less what I have and where we're at here.
Mr. Merck, would you raise your right hand? State your name, please.
Deputy Kyle Merck.
Mr. Widener, would you please rise as well? Raise your right hand. Would you state your name?
Scott Widener.
You both swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
Oh, this guy is great.
We've had dozens of these over the years, had several in Constantine, one not very far away from this. There's never one good right answer. My preference, as Mr. Johnson says, is not to euthanize the animal, although I have done it in some extreme cases.
Street, and there's a trailer they have lined up with a huge yard, and the job on 12th that I'm working on, the guy just yesterday, he has a brand new kennel out there, metal kettle with extra 10-foot sections, so it's like a 20-foot by 10-foot kennel that I can make a concrete foundation for, put a roof on it.
So
I've only had that dog for, I got him when he was 4 months old. Somebody gave him to me. They had 3 pit bulls and him running around. So that's probably where he got his attitude from when he was small. And so I've had him like during these winter months and such. And I was going to get him his tags, but you have to have the rabies shot first. And the vet called in sick the day. They only come every 2 weeks. And otherwise you get an appointment and it's weeks out. So they called in sick to a Tractor Supply Company, and I had to wait another 2 weeks, and this stuff happened then. But I mean, I play rough with them and everything, so.
everyone always says that, my dog's a sweetheart till it bites somebody. And according to the petition, bit Jan Reimer, and it also bit or chased
down on a
Angie
bike.
Birdsall.
Grabbed her.
You know he knows those people too. It's so fun. This is the only court we watched that he knows everybody. This is like Springfield from The Simpsons.
So you've been evicted from this house. Are you still there?
Yeah.
All right,
I've got a couple of days. Well, she's there till the 8th or the 10th. I'm out of there like by this weekend. I am, that's another stop I'm making. I'm probably gonna end up on Klinger Lake or in Bristol on the river. The owner of the marina, she has a place that I can stay at. But I'm buying a trailer. I'm just waiting for, he says there's protocol and steps that there's people in front of me. So I'm like, well, in order to get this quick, I'll come and do the work for you on your other trailers for nothing. He's like, well, I appreciate that. So I can get this trailer bought. And like I said, it is a huge yard and
well, there's an awful lot of uncertainty here. You don't even know where you're going.
Well, I know I'm going until
well,
I
the
get a
dog's
trailer.
not licensed, the dog's not vaccinated, and so nothing's gonna happen until that happens.
That can all get paid today. The boss, I can call the boss and he can pay for everything.
Who's the person that owns Klinger Lake?
I'm, well, Paul's the worker, the main man in that, but he knows the owner of the marina.
All right, and who's that?
I don't know her name. He does. He's contacted her and said, so he says, get a hold of me in the morning. And yesterday he was working and he's like, well, I didn't call her back. I'm like, oh, great. I said, I gotta be out of there in a couple of days. So he's like, come back tomorrow. He said, we'll get it taken care of.
Well, you're not making a real good case for releasing this dog to you. You don't have a place to live. You don't know where you're gonna go. You don't know when you're gonna go there. This house was foreclosed on, and several weeks ago I did an eviction. The
I had
dog
no
is,
idea about that house, what was going on with that.
well, you were a tenant, but it had been
There it
sold at a
is.
foreclosure sale, and there's a long process. and
Yeah.
The dog is in doggy jail at the county animal control center.
He called it doggy jail.
And we have a very good
I was there, I seen him the other day.
modern facility. This had a lot of money put into it. Mr. Merck, how is the dog doing at animal control?
Dog's health seems very good, Your Honor. He's happy, healthy, well fed. His temperament is my questioning factor on him. We have him in an indoor-outdoor kennel so he can go in and out without having human contact, where we don't have to leash him up or anything like that. So we can let him out, clean the inside, let him in, clean the outside. When in passing, the dog's temperament, when Scott's around, he seems super sweet, playful. But when he's not there and people are walking through the kennel, he is jumping on the door. He is lunging at the door. I wouldn't necessarily say that I've heard him like growl specifically, but he's a very vocal, like German Shepherds are, and he is definitely a large dog to be jumping up on that kennel. He almost sees eye to eye to me when he's standing on his hind legs. And I know it concerns my clerks. We haven't tried leashing him, taking him out. He's been there for the 16 days I think we've had him.
So nobody's gone
Thank you,
in and
Zoe.
petted the dog or leashed him or tried to walk him or any of
No.
that stuff?
No.
Because they're afraid to.
Yes.
There's a note on there that says not to. I thought you're not supposed to have any
That's-
contact.
Yeah, the note on the door is for the people that are walking through looking at other dogs,
Oh.
not necessarily my employees.
Mr. Widener, you're not qualified to own this dog.
We have a Jeanette Hickok. She lives with me and I've been with her for 10 years. And
Could you imagine you're such a schmuck that you can't handle a dog? Isn't a dog the easiest thing to have as an adult? Like, my daughter could handle a dog. This guy's such a schmuck. He can't even handle a dog.
she knows the dog and the dog knows
Well,
her.
somebody gave you this dog that was socialized with pit bulls.
There you go.
You don't know anything about it.
I
You're
have a
living in
pit.
a foreclosed
She's the best.
house. You don't know where you're gonna go next. They told you as early as March 1st, the dog needed to be licensed and vaccinated. They got one complaint when it chased Miss Birdsall, and they got another complaint when it bit Miss Reimer, and they had other complaints in between. In the meantime, you're in La La Land, and the dog hasn't been vaccinated, hasn't been licensed, and you keep several occasions let it out.
I
Now you have a dog and nowhere to live. I suppose
That's
if you,
only for a couple of days.
all right, well, so what do you want me to do?
He got out because I was trying to train him.
All
I
right,
didn't
well,
put
that-
him
that
on a
wasn't my-
leash
what-
to
that
walk
wasn't
him
my
out.
question.
To
What
get,
do you want me to do?
I'd like to get him back and keep more control on him. I already lined up a kennel. I obviously can't just let him go and say, hey, come on, let's go, and I put him on the cable. I have to put him on a leash and walk him to the cable. But he's young, he's playful, he just runs off, and so I can't let him off the leash is what I can do. So
I can't let him off the bungee cord.
when he bit her, I was walking to the end of the house, everything was clear, the truck door was open, he'd run and jump in there. But as I broke the plane, I'm walking, and then she came up and he went "Swoop," and she was laying on the ground, and I go to get him, and he's jumping, dancing around, and both these people that this incident happened with, they're like, oh, okay, they're laughing because they see him jumping and playing. Well, they know that that's what he was doing. Well, he just played too rough.
But yeah, they thought it was so funny, they went to the Constantine Police Department
Yeah.
and reported it.
I just can't let him off of the leash. I thought
And
he
so-
would listen better.
Okay, so you've got a dog that is dangerous. You can't control it. And you can't keep it on, you have to keep it on a leash at all times. I've had multiple cases where pit bulls, the door opened, they darted out the door, bit somebody, killed somebody else's dog. And so they're little time bombs. They're fine if they're in a enclosed setting, but when they're released from that, so you don't have a setting to go to.
Call them time bomb.
So if I was to allow this dog to be released from the animal control facility, it would be with you in your car going, I don't know where.
So why don't we give me, what is today? Wednesday, Thursday? So why don't we give me to Monday to have be in a new place with a kennel?
Well, I'll give you more than just until Monday, but that's my thought. I think that this thing over in Meadow Lane is a pipe dream. I don't think it's imminent that you've got a place to go with a kennel. People in Meadow Lane aren't gonna want a German Shepherd in a cage, outside barking. I don't remember seeing any kennels at Meadow Lane.
No, there ain't, no, the
Good to see you,
Meadow
Richard.
Lanes is here, and at the very far corner of it, there's a blue trailer. The house right here is like a friend, and I'm working on their house. Her father works with us plastering. So I'm pressure washing and painting the windows. It's being inspected by the state so she can sign off on it or something. But, so I'm working on that, and within that trailer park, there's a trailer, it's almost by itself. It looks like you could put 2 more trailers on each side. I already met the lady next door. The other one, it's the back of the trailer with 1 window only. The woods are behind us.
Is he wearing a paint stained Echo gray heather sweatshirt? I can't.
It's like at the end of the trailer park.
Yeah.
And I gave him the application. I checked back with him. He actually called me back in. He says, get that in. He says, let's see what we can do, because I offered to work, do the work.
And oh, by the way, I want to bring my German Shepherd that's been petitioned as a dangerous animal.
Dangerous. Well, it was marked down pet on the app. So, and I have the deposit coming today. I'm going to finish a job right now on Amino Lake. And he said you need $1,000 down. Well, I got that.
How much does it cost per day to house this dog?
$10 a day.
And not to, let's see, what would be the word, not to use it, Jeremy. Remember the working of all those suspensions that I was like working off and such?
Yes.
I talked with him, and he was the one that told me to call in and have these tickets pushed up, so we could do something. He says, we need time to put something together. He says, go there, tell him to advance it so we can, but I can't get a hold of him. He's supposed to get a hold of me this week.
Which Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Sergeant Abnett.
Oh, okay, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, yes. And I called him right away when this happened. And he, like I said, he said, call them up, tell them, we'll push them forward. He said, we'll get it taken care of. But they're so busy, and today he's not working. So I couldn't get a hold of him to say anything. Not that that makes it any better, but I mean, I want the chance to control the dog, to keep him.
Well, it's not the dog's fault. There was a movement one time to have a petition to destroy the owner and then leave the dog intact. You're not a good dog owner. You got this dog, you haven't trained it, you haven't vaccinated, you haven't licensed it, you can't control it. You're being evicted from your house, you don't know where you're moving to. But that's not the dog's fault. And German Shepherds are very intelligent.
That was my last dog, was a shepherd, and I had her 14 years. till
Well, they
it
need
passed.
stimulation. They don't need to be locked in a house all day. And so now the dog's in quarantine, it's not having any human contact. It's getting institutionalized and it's bit two people. They're not asking to euthanize it at this point. I would be interested to know, and there are different animal rescue organizations, probably some are watching this right now. I'd like to know what my options are. A, what your option are. Are you gonna live in your car in Bristol somewhere?
No.
Or do you have a
No,
house?
there's a house. a
All right,
house
well,
on the river.
you're all blow and no show. I wanna see what's.
That's why I
real.
said, give me the chance to.
All right, well,
to
I'll give you
show.
more than next Monday. And I'd also like to know what options you guys have for placement.
Has anyone in your entire life said to you, "You're all blow and no show"? Anyone?
For the dog. So let's continue this.
You're all
to
blow and no show.
Thursday. I'm gone at the judicial conference. On
No, he's gone at the judicial
May
con.
18th. Let's see what we have on. The problem is I don't want to just leave this dog.
That's what I don't like that either. Locked up for nobody doing anything. That wouldn't be long enough to be with him, but I would come every day and take him out, walk him around the park, the racetrack back there or whatever, where the fair is, mess with him for an hour, so he has contact.
Well, they probably won't let you do that. Can he have contact at the shelter?
You can have contact at the shelter, yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I don't necessarily want him leaving the premises
No,
until.
I agree.
All blow and no show.
Oh boy.
Same me there.
Yeah.
That's close.
I have a vehicle impound case.
Nothing's better than Middleton pondering.
Adjourn this to Wednesday, May 17th at 3:00.
That next Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays?
2 Wednesdays. 13 days from today.
Oh, we'll be there, baby.
We'll see what options the animal control has and what options you have.
So I will talk to that vet, because it's a traveling vet.
Well, he's
And
not the
they-
only vet. I mean, there's 20
Well,
vets in
but
the
they might
county.
be able to come and give him the shot right there at the kennel, so it's done.
That would be helpful. Either way, the dog's gonna need to be vaccinated.
Yes. So if I can tell them the situation and that I missed it because they called in, I need this done, then I can get the license right there, which I asked him about a couple days ago when I was there. The dog, I did get him spayed.
So the dog has,
How could you get a male dog spayed? I can't take this guy anymore.
been spayed.
Yeah, from what he has said, yes, I haven't actually checked.
Where'd you get the dog spayed?
Or was it on Kalamazoo, it was like a free, I had my cat.
I'm surprised they would spay it without having a license and vaccinations, but I want you to bring proof.
I got the paperwork
All
for
right.
that.
Guessing that would have been the ASPCA.
I know it's a new building they just built down on, off of Melham, Sprinkle, off of Sprinkle and crossroad there.
Okay, we are going to jump. I have a Stevens clip from Armand. Monica said, "Hop on it, let's go." So he takes his stuff down. This one was a good one. Here we go. Listen to what this guy did, and what his reasons were. This is a Stevens classic. Let's roll.
How was that rest period you can get away? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Do that. I understand. I don't.
You never understand.
A motion to revoke unadjudicated probation that has been filed as of May 3rd. You were in this court, I guess, Monday? Monday, and the court directed the state of Texas to move forward through the probation office and the district attorney's office in professional courtesy fashion. Of course, I can't direct the executive branch what to do, but to file a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. The defendant has
He received probation Monday, and this occurred Monday night.
Yeah. So the defendant was placed on probation for the state jail felony of theft for a period of 4 years deferred or unadjudicated probation. This was theft of a generator and a trailer. And it is a state jail felony because it's valued over $2,500. Later on Monday, the court has received information that you, in a horrendous fashion, apparently assaulted one of the fine employees in the jail working for the county, who I understand is a very a person who has a family and is committed to being a public servant. And you struck the person on the head, and during the assault, the victim, let's see, he reached over the desk, grabbed the dormitory phone that you demanded to use. You took the phone, tried to use it. The officers were trying to retrieve the phone from you that you were not being allowed to use under the rules in the jail. You resisted. And when they tried to take the phone away from you, the deputy and another deputy, you resisted, and an assault occurred to the officer, who apparently struck her head and was seriously injured. And you have now been charged with aggravated assault against a public servant. It is alleged that you caused serious bodily injury to another person who you knew was a public servant while in the lawful discharging of their official duties. And apparently all of this was captured on audio and video cameras. So the motion to revoke unadjudicated probation alleges allegation 1, that while on probation for just a few hours, you committed the assault of a public servant.
There's actually 2 different victims.
In each of these 2 allegations, and each of these are allegations of a different public servant. So 2 public servants who were county jail employees working for the sheriff's office. That's right here. Were injured. And one we know is in very serious condition. So this is an issue that we're taking up today. We're not here to take up the motion to revoke probation, but a bond. Anything the state wants to say?
Judge, I think that looking at the facts of the case, we can't even ensure the safety of the public while he's in jail, let alone the safety of the public when he gets out on the street. So we would ask the court to set a very high bond to make sure that it reflects the seriousness of this. One of the officers has been life flighted to Houston, and we're trying to monitor the situation to make sure that they even survive this incident. The other one had to have surgery, I understand, on her elbow and had a head injury. So this was serious stuff. And this young man just got probation, hadn't even got out on the street yet, and he's already committing a crime that that caused harm to people who were just got two crimes. They're just trying to make sure that everybody else in the place stays in what they're doing and keep him safe as well as other people safe. And he ends up causing them injury. I don't think there's any conditions of bond really that we could set placing him out in the public if he can't even abide by the rules in the jail. What's going to keep him from doing things when he's out?
Okay, these are second-degree felonies as well. So you are looking at up to 20 years imprisonment on each case. Do you understand?
Yes.
So this is serious, most serious. What was anything from the defense?
Your Honor, I would request, because he was under deferred probation, he is entitled to a bond. So we requested a court to set a bond, and he just gave me a note here if I get a chance just to read it real quick. Your Honor, he's adamant he needs to speak for himself, so I've advised him that the court's taking everything down right now, and the court reporter is, and for him to be very careful, and that I advise him not to say anything right now, but I guess I can call him as witness and see if he wants to say anything.
All right.
Okay. I guess you can swear in.
You solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
So help me God. Truth is.
Your attorney has spoken to you. You want to make a statement? He's also, I think, recommended that you not say anything, but this is your life. You've heard, have you listened to him? What do you want to do?
I want to speak for myself and as judge. I talked to you Monday and we had a fine conversation, agreed to disagree. And I was good. You know what I'm saying? I accepted that you gave me a chance to change, and throughout me being in custody of any county, I have learned from myself that when I do be able to go to the free world, that I'll be able to take care of myself and dispark myself from people that aren't good for me. Besides that, that same day, you could see in the video of everything. When I came back from being told I had probation, I came back and my grandmother told me before I went to court, she gave me $20 to talk to her on the phone. When I came back, the money wasn't on my pen debit or anything. So as a rightful citizen, I didn't do anything out of my ordinary or league to do anything that can incriminate myself. I asked around to fellow inmates to ask them, did they see anything go wrong or go around while I was gone for the missing amount of my money? When they said that there was nothing that they have seen or did anything to the amount of money that was taken away from me, I still took up amend of my order.
Say that again.
I think I used the wrong word, but just from me doing something that I felt was right, that I went to the CEO and I asked politely, ma'am, is there anything that could be going wrong with the money or anything? And what was brought to me was the most attitude or disrespect ever. So in the video, if you can see before, I walked around and I continued cooking my noodles. And I even said that I'm getting very upset. This is not right. My money is gone. And then that's when I asked to have a lieutenant, if I could talk to a lieutenant. I was denied, and the woman said that the lieutenant doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't have any rights to talk to you or something. And so when that happened, I was like, why is she being so disrespectful to me? And I came at her with the most polite rudeness. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? You gave me another chance when I left your court. So then came to the conclusion where I was wrong and I was being stubborn, where I reached over the desk and grabbed the phone in an unharmfully way and tried to proceed to call my mother or my grandmother. When that was going through the facts and all that, the CEO finally came off of the picket and came around and was pulling my clothes off trying to get the phone back. I was steady being stubborn and didn't want to give her the phone. So when we go to the other side of the picket, the officer that's now supposedly a victim has pushed me while my jumper is off and pushed me into the fire hose, where I then hit my face onto the fire hose door. Once that has happened, I come to my senses and say that everything is real, that everything is going on is real. And so then I still was being stubborn a little bit, and then I gave the phone up. And then when I gave the phone up, a code had been called. And I was ready to just calm down and just go back to my bunk and do whatever I needed to do. But when the code was called, multiple people came. And when those multiple people came, I said, I am okay, I am fine. I do not need to be restrained or do anything out of the ordinary. When that had happened, they came in there and they crowded me. And when they crowded me, I admit to resisting the arrest that they were trying to do. When they were trying to arrest me, they were digging their nails. I have scars from them digging their nails into me. And when they was counting against me, it was so many of them that I barely even seen, like, you know what I'm saying, just like my view of anything. And so I just seen I was getting claustrophobic and I was just freaking out. And I can tell you right now, Your Honor, I did not swing from penal code. You can flip it to the I don't know my laws right from, because I'm not a lawyer, but I know what is right. I was taught what was right and what was wrong. But from just talking to people about laws.
Which people?
The
people in the jail, your fellow inmates?
Yes, sir.
That's where you're getting your advice?
Just from my 14th Amendment and my penal codes and everything, the laws that I have broken and did, and like stuff that I could be able to fight and protect myself while being accused. A penal code with assault 22.01. But assault is intentionally harming somebody by kicking, fighting, biting, scratching, anything from force of intentionally hurting somebody. In my case, where that I am at right now, I didn't intentionally do anything to anybody. Back to the story where they were crowding me and everything. They were grabbing me and I was resisting. As you see in the video, I was resisting and I was pulling away from their custody. Once I was pulling away from their custody, I seen in my peripheral that one of the victims that you have said have fell back and pulled away from me. And I seen it in a sarcastically manner, but that could just be me. Like it was planned or seen, but she stopped herself from falling to the ground before any harmful activities, or harmful things that could happen to her. But as I can say and fight for myself with assaulting, her actions and my actions going together pulled a effect as like a rubber band. You're pulling a rubber band and it finally pops. Her grabbing me and her letting go is her own faults that I'm fighting for. Me, after that, I had chilled and they
The old rubber band defense, guys. Come on.
were able to put me in custody. When they put me in custody, I walked out of the dorm with them. A sergeant that has came towards me with fury and hate in his eyes had grabbed me and slammed me into the wall while I was already in handcuffs and put a taser to the back of my neck. When he put the taser to the back of my neck, his words were,
Look at Judge Stevens.
his words were, you lucky that you weren't still in that dorm because I would have tased you till you stopped breathing. Once he said that, he escorted me to the maximum rec yard. And while he was escorting me, he was putting pressure onto my arms and to my cuffs, where at that time that they were becoming cuts and bruises on my wrist from him hiding, like putting pressure and with me complying.
Let me see that. And where are the cuts and the bruises? Show me.
I got cuts in my bruises.
Where are they?
They just regular names from him just.
Where are the? I don't see any lacerations at all.
So it's not like no deep cuts, sir, but it's like scratches. If I can.
Okay.
But from that, I was being calm and being going through what they were saying and telling me to do on their command. So once I sat down into the max and they released me into the max rec yard, I then was there for a couple of minutes, and then Lieutenant Neighbors called me over with a sweet tone that made me feel comfortable. So I went over to her and she asked me what was going on. I tried to explain to her, and once I explained to her, she cut me off in my first 2 seconds. It was like, you stubborn child, you're never gonna be nothing in life. I don't even know why the judge gave you a chance. And, and then it hurt my feelings. And I was still, and I was like, yes, ma'am. And she asked me, no, she didn't ask me. She was like, so you're being smart when you're saying yes, ma'am? And I told her, no, just because of my actions that have happened in my past from whatever doesn't mean that I wasn't raised the right way. So that when I pleaded to saying that to her, I was now released from the max rec and going into booking. And when I went into booking, walking past all of the guards and everything, they were muttering and saying stuff that was hateful and threatening my life. And when I walked to booking, they was trying to figure out where to put me before they made me go into a cell in max. And most of the officers were telling them to put me into a cell with an adult that was a certified sexual a child what's your name, I forgot what the case is called, but a sex offender. And they were plotting to put me in there, and it was like, what if some one of the CEOs told them what would happen if we put him in there, and what would like be the causes. And then some of the CEOs said they don't care what would be the causes because I deserve it. Then somebody stepped up and said that no, if we don't have any single cells, put them in this cell. And then they forwarded to put me in a general population cell, where I was in there with grown men. And at that point of the whole thing, I was sitting in there, and a guy that was outside of the cell that told me that he was the chief, not at that moment of time, was talking to Lieutenant Neighbors, and they was staring at me with fear in their eyes. And then I was removed from the holding cell into their custody. When I was in their custody, I moved on. When I was in their custody, they moved me to Max Rec. While I was going through Max Rec and going into the maximum security and was being stripped and everything, the chief had told me that mass search, I felt some relief about where they were bringing me. I was telling them that what they were saying and doing was wrong, and that God would seek the truth.
Thank you, Laura.
The guy in a blue shirt that told me he was the chief said, he said the truth doesn't matter how the camera in the dorm sees it, and from him and Lieutenant Neighbors' power and them to testify that it didn't matter what happened. He told me he was the devil and welcome to his world. I kept trying to explain what he was doing was wrong, wasn't right. He told me to shut the hell up, and I kept talking. One of his people were right there while they were stripping me, and I kept talking. It was a large African American man, and he pointed his taser at me and commanded me to, in his words, shut the fuck up before I make you wish you never open your mouth. And I looked down and seen a beam on my shirtless body.
Another 20.
And I was like, what about my rights? He said he didn't give a flying fuck. And as an inmate, I don't have rights, and proceeded to intimidate me with the taser. They took turns using their horrifying words to play to scare me. And from then, and it sure did the job. I was terrified by my own human race and felt in danger for my life. And after that, they put me in an ISO cell. I didn't get a phone call that day, understanding that the maximum already got their cell phones that day. But after that, I was declined a phone call the next day and never brought out my cell while everybody went to talk to their people. And I still was not notified where my belongings were, and previously asked for a towel and cover and soap. None of it has still been given to me. Haven't been able to go to rec either. And they just now fixed my toilet and shower. It was covered in human feces. Human feces, and would not flush. The shower is too cold to use, even if I was given the stuff for me
Wait, did he have to make sure he said feces right and it was feces was the right word? Did you see he was like, yeah, right, feces.
to bathe with and dry off with. I've had a little cold from it being cold, not having a blanket. The guard also teased me and kept my light on when I was trying to sleep, and also flickered it while I was sleeping. And I have to try to warm up and go back to sleep. And as I can fight for myself again, as I've been in custody of Jefferson County Correctional Facility, I have no write-ups for me to even be in danger to anybody in my society. I have never harmed a kitten, a dog, or a baby. If I can have people fight for me and write notes for me to prove that I am able to be free inside of this world and live as a normal, regular citizen as we all are, and follow the rules, I would be happy and glad you gave me the option to. Done, y'all.
What else? Anything from the government?
No, Your Honor, I think he's pretty much confessed with just about everything.
All right, for 20 some odd minutes, we let you speak to, without interruption, on what you wanted to tell the court. And you seem to be missing the really point. You spent a lot of time on what happened and how you were being treated after the event. Well, you need to appreciate that a public servant has been seriously injured by assaultive behavior. And you admit to resisting over the phone, and somebody has been harmed in an attempt to do what their job is, and that is to control the environment in there. And the rules are the rules. If you're ordered by one of the guards to give up a phone, I would think that the proper thing is it's not time for a debate. It's time to follow the rules, because they are responsible for the security and the rules. And while you are in there, your safe interests are foremost. But what happened here is, it seems like you decided you were going to dictate the rules and you were going to enforce your rules, which is not the way it works in that environment. Now somebody's seriously injured. All right. The court is, what's the state asking for here?
$250,000 bond.
All right, I'm going to grant the request and the bond is at an amount of $250,000. If the defendant is able to make that bond, then the defendant would be placed on house arrest, would have a monitor, would have to have a GPS device, would not leave home except for hospitalization, necessary hospitalization. And the court would take up other factors if the defendant
Your Honor, I would request if he's house arrested and restricted hospitalizations, but also for legal purposes, to visit his attorney, whether it's me or another attorney, and for court purposes.
God bless you. Why can't that be handled by a phone through over the phone?
Yes, it could.
Sir?
I guess it could.
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Because I'm concerned about in a most secure facility, the harm that's been done here.
Sure.
And keeping in mind, the defendant was placed on probation for a few hours when this occurred. What I'd like to do also is there any, let's set this for a resolvement here.
Yes, sir. I've got to check
soon
and
as
see
possible.
when the file's coming over to our office from the jail, so.
And here's another problem is there will be some substantive offenses probably filed and new charges will be added to what you've got with me with if the state's investigation when completed deems that there's probable cause to move forward to charge you with additional offenses, which are most serious because of this lady's condition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor. May I have a word again?
Go ahead.
Well, I was informed and knowing
By
that,
whom?
no, just
By
from
whom? Who informed you?
from my cases and from my people checking in of it being assault on two public servants. I was wondering if anything, I know this is not leading in my way right now, but for one of them to be dismissed because the other public servant that has nothing to even do with anything, and we have not had any.
Event is your perception, but you're not the grand jury. You're not the executive branch of government. So it just seems like what's happening here is this, Mr. Gill, what appears to me is you've got a problem appreciating and understanding that the rules are dictated that are above us, that we all have to follow in whether it's in jail or just rules of decorum or crimes that are instituted for good reasons. And that is so we can all enjoy the blessings of liberty peacefully. But when people hurt others, commit crimes, then the rules of behavior and mutual life existence with each other have to be carried out and under the rules of due process. And your actions have shown already in this case is that you prefer your own rules and you wish your rules on your terms to be followed. But when you're in the jail as an inmate, the people who are the stewards, who are the custodians of the care of the people, they're the ones who are carrying out the policies. You're a human being, and you have a right to be treated properly under the rules. And here, seems like you decided that you wanted to dictate the rules. And that's not the way it works. And here's somebody who is representing the county has been seriously injured as a result of that. Some things you may not understand or may not like, but they're still rules. Some rules we would prefer to be changed, but until they're changed, they're rules that must be followed. All of us. I have the rules. Your attorney, you, state's attorney, all of us. But we have to follow the rules. And when the rules are not followed and someone is injured, especially seriously, then there's an accounting that will be done. A reckoning will be held, an accountability. And that's the way it works. If the rules are violated, we're answerable, all of us. And here, you were under rules that were you were under probation for just a few hours. And I gotta admit, that's about as quick a probation term before a serious violation occurs that I've really experienced while on this bench. So it's disturbing that we had the hearing, you understood where this was headed, and you were given another opportunity. It does not appear that you'd made the best wisest use of that opportunity, because you're going to be before me on this motion to revoke probation, and you're going to have to account for, while on my watch for just a few hours, you allegedly violated the rules. All right. Anything else to add, Mr. West? That is all.
Wow, that was a good one. I told you. This is what happens if you don't join Discord. You miss this kind of stuff during the day, because we are serving up clips literally all day. So if you can't make the live, you hop on the Discord and you see the clips. Our clips, and I'm in there all day with you guys. Here we go, because I care about this community. It's my community. It's our community. I love it. Here we go. She's back. The world's worst lawyer. And there couldn't be anyone worse to be a bad lawyer with than Judge Mom. And this is part 2. I'm going to be dropping a video with part 1 and part 2 together. So, she's back with her client in all of her glory. Let's roll. Attorney Wendy Barnwell. And this time, Gwendolyn Russell digs herself even deeper.
All right, so I believe that this is going to be connected to audio. Nothing's not connected. Ms. Barnwell, I'm going to need to go somewhere that I don't hear anything else in the background. I have a lot of background noise on that. So can you please relocate?
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's actually it's an accommodation to attorneys to appear by Zoom, but if we can't have that, then I have to have you come in person. I can't have the background noise for the record.
Okay, I can move into a witness room in the courtroom.
She literally just got mad at DeSanto because she wanted her to get better audio. Oh boy. I can't. Where is she going? Where is she, in the lobby at a Radisson? Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I love it. If we can't hear DeSanto's squeaky chair, there's a problem.
She wants me doing too much noise out there. Okay. Judge, I'm in a witness room.
Yeah, I just wanted to review the case.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we are going to go on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Gwendolyn Russell, 23736. And appearance for the people, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Adam Trinson. I'm requesting practice under APA, like feedback under NPR.
Speaking of pitch, Jemai just came through and unplugged all of my stuff.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Barnwell, do you have any objections
see her?
to Mr. Coons being granted permission to practice under the supervision of Mr. Kazak? He's passed the bar exam and he's transferring up here from Ohio and just waiting for all of his documentation to be sent.
No objection, Judge. No objection.
He's been hired by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and so the court will note then that counsel indicated no objection. And appearance for Ms. Russell. Appearance, counsel?
Yes, Judge. Wendy Barnwell, P42505, on behalf of Ms. Gwendolyn Russell. We're both present on Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Russell, if you can please state your name for the record.
Gwendolyn Russell.
All right, and today is the meeting scheduled for the probable cause conference, the adjourned probable cause conference. And counsel, there's been a resolution, correct?
Yes, Judge. The last time we were in, oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
I am counsel, Ms. Barnwell, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, the last time we were in court, the prosecutor made the offer of a misdemeanor use. And my client has been, I saw her in jail subsequently, and I talked to her today in a breakout room, as well as the last time we were in court, we chatted in a breakout room about this offer. She indicated that she wishes to accept the offer.
All right, and counsel, did you indicate what that offer was?
Your Honor, it's a misdemeanor use, but if the prosecutor could read it out.
Yes, Judge. So, the defendant has agreed to, plead to a controlled substance violation in exchange for the original charge of the control, possession of meth charge that he was originally charged with.
All right, Ms. Barnwell, that's going to be a plea of guilty by your client, correct?
Yes, Judge, to the misdemeanor, the 1-year misdemeanor.
And that's MCL 333.74042B, correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Russell, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
I'm sorry?
You heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, is that correct?
The plea of guilty to a misdemeanor? Or what's the question? I'm sorry.
Were you paying attention to what your attorney indicated on the record?
Yes.
Okay, so she indicated that you are going to be pleading guilty to a reduced charge of controlled substance use, which is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and or $1,000 fine or both. Do you understand that?
1 year in jail?
That's the maximum possible penalty.
Counsel,
That's not.
please don't interrupt me.
Sorry,
Counsel, please
Judge.
don't interrupt. That's the maximum penalty, ma'am. I'm just letting you know what the maximum penalty is.
Oh my gosh, I almost had a heart attack. Okay, yeah, I think, right?
So I just want to confirm, you heard the plea that your attorney indicated, correct?
Right.
Okay, as to that amended charge of controlled substance use, how do you plead?
For guilty. Right?
And you've gone over your advice of rights with your attorney, correct?
Sure, yes.
Ms. Russell? Okay. And you understand all of those rights?
Right.
You understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your right to a trial, your trial and appellate rights. Do you understand that?
Right.
You also understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea today, correct?
Which would be the 1 year in jail?
I'm just saying that's the maximum. There could also be probation, no probation, there could be a combination of all of it. I don't know until I sentence you, but you understand that?
I do understand that's possible, yes.
Okay. Knowing all that, do you still want to continue with your plea?
Yeah.
Okay. Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea? Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No.
All right. Counsel, please go to your client. Ms. Barnwell, please
Judge,
go to
I
your
have
client.
to pull up the I'm trying to pull it up here. Sorry.
She's the worst.
I'm having trouble pulling it open. I'm having trouble pulling open the stuff on my laptop.
Would you like the court to conduct the voir dire, counsel?
Can you do that, Judge? Because I cannot open up. I'm trying to open up something that's on my laptop, but it's not opening.
She's so well prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the city of Wyandotte on April 12th of 2023?
April? Yeah. Yep. At CVS. Yep.
Okay. And were you at that time using a controlled substance?
You mean like when the cops came up to my vehicle?
At any point, ma'am, on that date, prior to the officer's arrival, their initial contact with you, were you using a controlled substance?
I did use that day. Yes, I did use that day.
Okay, what is it you use, ma'am?
I smoked methamphetamine.
Okay.
And I think I also may have used heroin or opiates that day.
Okay. All right. Are the people
But I've been
satisfied?
clean for.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment. Are the people satisfied with the factual basis?
Correct, Judge, so if people are satisfied with the factual basis.
Ms. Barnwell, is the defense
Defense is-
satisfied with the factual basis?
Defense is satisfied, Judge. Yes, Judge.
Counsel, please let me finish asking the question. We can only record one at a time. So, for the record, is the defense satisfied with the voir dire and the factual basis for the plea?
The defense is satisfied, Judge.
All right. The court is also satisfied with the plea of knowing, voluntary, and actually after the court will accept your plea to the amended charge of controlled substance use. The court will dismiss the felony charge, count 1, and the court will schedule this matter for sentencing. Counsel, are you available on June 1st?
Of course she is.
1 split second, Judge. 1 second.
One split second, Judge. I can't with this lady. We're gonna have a part 3 sentencing. Of course, Russell's the only. That's her only client.
I'm available in the early afternoon.
9 to 3.
If it's on Zoom, I'm available about 10:30. I have some other sentencing scheduled earlier that day.
Who you represent?
No, this is
Bert
in
and
person.
Ernie?
So we'll do June 1st at 1:30. Is that early enough in the afternoon?
It is good. It is good.
Okay. And so Ms. Russell,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, my notes show that you were to secure inpatient treatment. Are you inpatient treatment? It looks as though you're home.
Yeah, I am home, but I did secure inpatient treatment at Sacred Heart on the 10th. And then afterwards, there's another and that's like a residential 27-day program. And then after that, I talked to Grace Centers of Hope, and they have like a whole, it's like, my sister's been in this program for like years now. A year. It's called Grace Centers of Hope. They help you get back into society.
Did she say her sister? She's not gonna go.
You get a job. It's like a 3/4 house living kind of situation, but
Where, your sister's basement?
that's what it's under, is this Grace Centers of Hope.
Okay. So my question to you is, so May 10th, and you said a 27-day program?
The Sacred Heart is a 30-day program.
Okay. Will you be able to zoom in from Sacred Heart for your sentencing on June 1st?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So council, I will permit Zoom on June 1st, but it has to be on time.
Yes, ma'am. They do that. Yes, ma'am.
That's only in the event that defendant is inpatient treatment at Sacred Heart.
Okay.
If you are not inpatient, ma'am, you're to be here in person.
Yes, ma'am.
And so the council, do you want 10:30 a.m. instead of 1:30 p.m. that day?
Yes, Judge.
Hey, Ms. Russell, I'm going to ask you a question,
Yes, ma'am.
and I need an honest answer.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are tested today, what is in your system?
I've been taking my Zubsolv. It's a form of Suboxone. And I actually got a prescription for it back in 2021, and it doesn't expire until 2025. The actual prescription, like the medication. So that's all I've been taking, and yeah, and I have tried to smoke and use, a little bit of methamphetamines, but I have been getting better, and I don't have any of those to use anymore, and that's the truth.
Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty.
Did she just admit to meth use? Look at the inmate. He's like, you can't be serious.
Ma'am, do you want to go back to jail in lieu of inpatient treatment?
No, I do not want to go back to jail.
Then stop using the methamphetamine.
Yes, ma'am.
Why isn't her attorney helping her? Tell her to shut up.
And I'm not sure if your Zubsolv is still a valid prescription since it's 2 years old. Just because the medication itself doesn't expire until 2025.
Oh.
If you're not under a current doctor's orders, then that's not a valid prescription.
Is it okay if I make a doctor's appointment to get it reinitiated? Because it's really been helping me, I think it's really been helping me turn things around for me.
Yeah, but I'm very confused. If you're taking Zubsolv, how can you also be using meth and not be violently ill?
I'm sorry, the phone broke up.
What's not making sense, ma'am, is if you're taking the Zubsolv and you're smoking methamphetamine, how are you not violently ill?
Well, because the Zubsolv is an opiate like antagonist. I think the opiate in Zubsolv kind of, like if I was using heroin and Zubsolv at the same time, that would counteract the receptors in the brain, and I would be violently ill. But methamphetamine is like a stimulant, so it doesn't counteract on the same receptors in the brain.
Well, I'm glad that you have all that information and you're knowledgeable with that. Who's there in the house with you that you keep looking at?
My meth
My
buddies.
mom.
Nobody voted for Barnwell?
Okay.
Sorry.
Counsel, why should I not revoke your client's bond and have her incarcerated until her bed, until she goes right to Sacred Heart on May 10th?
Because I think her mom, who was in the courthouse, came there, spoke. She was in person. They're making a good faith effort. I believe that those drugs they're like a parasite and she's the host type thing. That's just my perception of those drugs. But I think there's a good faith effort being made. She's here. She showed up. Mom is here. And I don't believe when mom
She called drugs a parasite and the woman's a host?
she showed up in order to appease Miss Russell, but to let the court know her concerns. I think that she's on the right track because she's not running around the metropolitan Detroit area. She's here. She looks clean. She looks sober to me. Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't
Besides
know
the
how
meth.
that looks, but she showed up. She's speaking clearly. She responded appropriately. So I think that's what's going on at this moment, Judge.
Ms. Russell, when's the last time you used meth?
Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
No, not this morning. I don't have any meth to use anymore. I don't have any meth. To be honest, I tried to hit my empty. This is the truth to God. Like, I tried to hit my empty pipe yesterday. Might have got like a, semi-half-ass, or I didn't even get really a hit from it because it's empty. I was just like scraping the bottom of the bowl, and that's the truth. Like, and, so yeah, that's the truth. But I did take my Zubzol this morning. And
Okay, well, that's good. Even though it's not with a valid prescription. So, I got something, ma'am. The court allowed you to go home on a GPS tether house arrest, and that you were to secure
I still got it.
treatment through your health insurance. Okay, very good. Through your health insurance, and then you're going to be tethered to treatment. There wasn't anything in there that said you can still use your meth or anything else while you're on house arrest. So quite frankly, I haven't really heard a reason why I shouldn't have you go back to Wayne County Jail until May 10th, and then you go right to treatment.
Because I have been doing so good. Like I had never spent time in jail. Last time I was in jail, that was the first time I was in jail. It was so crazy. It was so bad. Honest to God, like I won't use my Zubzol or meth or anything anymore. Like I've really been trying. Like I've really been pressing down and like I've been reading my recovery book. Like I've been praying. Like I've been sticking to my tether, staying home, just trying to get through this. Like I really don't want to go to jail.
Okay, you've been reading your recovery book, but you were just saying that you were scraping the bottom of the bowl to get whatever meth you could yesterday.
Honestly, it's been such a struggle. Like I've been addicted to drugs for a long time. You know what I mean? But every day gets a little bit easier. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not gonna, every day I get a little bit stronger. I get a little bit stronger. I just keep pushing forward, trying to keep with my recovery. I think the tether is helpful. My parents are supportive. I'm trying to work around the house, eat better food, eat healthy. Like, I don't have anything to use. I don't have, my phone. It's like I don't have anybody to, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just trying to stay on the up and up, and I think I'm getting better every day. Please God, don't send me back to jail. Like, I really am trying to do my best.
Ma'am, my court order was not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, and you've done both.
I'm just trying to be honest with you. I'm just an addict, and I'm just trying to get better. I'm not a criminal. I'm just a drug addict. So if you could work with that, Judge, please understand. Like I mean, I know there was an offense for a criminal offense, but I am going to rehab. You know what I mean? My drug addiction is like a parasite, like she said, and I have rehab scheduled. and I'm turning my life around. I'll do anything to turn my life around. Like, I don't want to go to jail.
Does your mom allow visitors? Does your mom allow you to have friends come to the house?
No.
So how did you have meth that you were using?
It was just all my stuff from my apartment when I moved out, packed out in the barn. Like, it was just an old piece of whatever from years ago that I had found. Crumbs that I had found. So I'm gonna throw that type away. It's trash. It's garbage. It's all garbage. I don't have any more garbage.
Ms. Russell, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you test today. And if there's something in your system, then you're going to be in custody until you report to rehab. That's how we're going to do that.
What?
I'm going to have you test today. And if there's anything in your system, you're going to be in Wayne County Jail until you report to rehab.
Okay.
She's done.
Right, what down?
So you're going to email them to probation. They're going to give you the information about testing today.
Stop.
Do you know what time you're supposed to be reporting to Sacred Heart on May 10th?
10:30.
10:30 a.m.? Is that yes?
10:30 a.m. at Sacred Heart, yeah.
Okay, so I'm indicating if the test comes back positive, you're to report to Wayne County Jail. You're going to be in custody with Wayne County Jail until May 10th at 7:30 a.m., at which point you can get picked up and go right out to Sacred Heart. Because I am watching your behavior, and I'm fairly certain that you are under the influence of something right now.
I'm not. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not.
Okay, well, the drug test will confirm that, or will confirm one of our physicians, okay?
Her lawyer did nothing. And they hired
The
her.
court indicated bond and balance of conditions are continued.
Your Honor,
All
where
right.
would she get the drug test? Is there a specific place? Will probation tell her that?
Yeah, that's why I indicated she has to contact probation. They will give her that information.
They're not fucking locking up for nothing. Because I'm too honest. I'm a fucking drug addict, not a criminal.
No. Gwen, mute the button.
Mute the button.
Ms. Russell, I'm going to have you stay on Zoom until I can have probation log in, and I'll have you meet with them in a breakout room.
Oh, she's done.
Okay.
And
You and your mom if you're there.
Ms. Russell, let me be very clear. You're going to be ordered a drug test today anyway. So the fact that you disclosed that you've been using meth and the Zubzol, it's not a punishment for you being honest, right? The court was going to order you to drug test today anyway. So I just want you to be clear on that. Because this court's order was you ordered to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. And I know you have an issue with drugs, which is why this court was going to have you drug test today regardless.
Higher than a giraffe's eyebrow.
Okay, where do I go for that?
I'm having probation log in, and I'm going to put the two of you in a breakout room, and they will give you that information, okay? All right. We're going to be off the record for just a quick moment.
Judge, I have to go in physically to a courtroom here in Frank Murphy.
We'll be back on June 1st, counsel.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Absolutely.
So if I test yeah, I don't know. What do you mean?
Oh, this
If
was.
I test clean, would I have to go to jail?
No.
No.
Because I literally took crumbs of this stuff.
Okay.
Like crumbs, and I've been trying so
Gwendolyn,
hard.
silence your button. Silence the button. You don't want to be in an additional trouble because the court is in session.
Look what she said.
Judge,
She just said her client has trauma.
I have to run in the courtroom. Thank you.
The worst ever. Worst attorney ever. I can't. This was the best. Trauma, sorry. She's a crackhead. She sucks. But she's on retainer.
Okay, so we're going to go on the record in the matter of.
Oh, do you know that she is a legal powerhouse? Let's watch.
This month, and Robin and we will be modeling some hot merch coming up: t-shirts, mugs, face masks, emblazoned with political coffee. And today, Robin and Wendy, I brought my Moscow Mule mug minus the Moscow. It got coffee inside. I need it.
Coffee?
Cheers.
And what do you have?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Hi, I have my mug that says, "You melt my heart."
Oh,
You suck! Oh my god, I can't anymore. Guys, you're the best. You've been served. Make sure you watch Kitsch. You've been served.